Good day to you. It is good of you to visit. My name is William Baird, and I was born on the 7th of December 1887, not that far from here. If you know where the Slap House burn goes into the sea, and if you know where the River Doon goes into the sea, in between the two, there was a farm called Gowcroft Farm, and that is where I was born. Of course, it's all built up now, but back then it was a wee farm where my father worked in the late 1880s. If you go down towards the sea and look south, that is where my life started. My mother was called Janet, and I was called William after my father. He was a ploughman, so we moved about wherever he could find work. I was the fourth of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. As I said, we had to move for my father's work, and by the time I was 4 years old, we were up in Comores. We spent some time in Dalrymple and then Maybole. By that time, I had left school and was a stable boy looking after the horses. A family of 12 was hard to feed and clothe though, so I decided to make a bold move. I decided to emigrate to Canada. The Canadian government had officers going round Ayrshire telling us that there was land, jobs and opportunities over there, and I just thought, why not give it a go? I left Greenock in early 1913 and arrived in Nova Scotia on the 15th of April 1913. I registered myself as a farm labourer and I was 25 years old. Over the next years, I gradually moved west, following the jobs. And by November 1917, I was in Calgary, still unmarried and still a farm labourer. By this time, the Great War had been going on for over 3 years, thousands of miles away. Right from the start of the war, Canada had been sending soldiers, but I had not wanted to get involved. By the winter of 1917, though, I felt that I was getting nowhere working in the land, so I made another bold move. Don't get me wrong, I was also patriotic. I wanted to do the right thing for my countries, Great Britain, Scotland, and Canada. I enlisted in the 10th Battalion, Canadian Infantry, Alberta Regiment. I wasn't stupid, I knew the possibilities. So, in January 1918, I made my will, leaving everything I had to my mother Janet. We sailed for England on the SS Melita and arrived there on the 4th of March 1918. We were only there a few days before we left for France, arriving there on the 23rd of May. We entered the Western Front in June, and we very quickly got the nickname the Fighting 10th. I received medals and decorations for my actions and my bravery. The Allies slowly shoved the Germans back, but we realised that to win, we had to break through the Germans' last line of defence, known as the Hindenburg Line. And it was in this fighting that I was very badly wounded. I was taken to the hospital in Bologna on the 2nd of October, and I died there on the 5th of October 1918. I was 30 years old. My medals and 7 decorations were sent to my mother and father, who by then were living in Whitletts. I'm buried in the British Cemetery in Wimille in France, and I'm also listed on my family gravestone in St. Quivox.